Welcome into the Huddle Up Podcast. I am your host, Taylor Sharp. On this podcast, we cover all things related to NFL football. Today, I want to talk about the upcoming 2025 NFL Draft and why I believe one player may actually define the entire first round. Of course, that player is none other than Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders. Look, we know that the Tennessee Titans in all likelihood are going to take Cam Ward with that number one overall pick. Some say there's going to be two quarterbacks in the first round. Some say there's going to be three. Quite frankly, if you're asking me, okay, which one of these quarterbacks deserves to go in the first round? I don't know if any of them do. I think this is a very weak quarterback class. I know Cam Ward seems to be far and away the most talked about, right? The best prospect out of all these guys. But I don't know if I necessarily agree that he should be the number one overall pick. However, it doesn't really matter what I think. He's going to be the number one overall pick, whether I like it, you like it, or anybody else. That in all likelihood is going to happen. At 2 overall, you have the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland needs a quarterback. Will they take a quarterback? I don't think they will. As a matter of fact, on Monday, right before the NFL owners' meetings begin, Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the Cleveland Browns, said, we need a quarterback, but we're not just going to dive in and take anyone. We're going to do our due diligence. We're going to be patient. We're going to make sure we have the right fit. To me, that says we're not taking a quarterback at 2 overall. Shedeur Sanders really hasn't been mocked to them in terms of any sort of draft expert. It's kind of been Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter. I think they're taking Abdul Carter. At this point, if you're Cleveland, just build up that defense as much as possible. Maybe bring in a bridge quarterback that can kind of steady the ship. Can you bring in a guy that's not going to turn the ball over, that's not going to make any catastrophic errors, and maybe make it to the playoff on the back of your defense? That is certainly a possibility. Shedeur Sanders has kind of been the guy that's been mocked at number 3 overall. Until recently, because last week, what did we see happen? The New York Giants signed not one, but 2 quarterbacks. So they bring in Jameis Winston, and they said, hey, Jameis Winston, by all accounts, we want him to be our number 2 quarterback. So you're thinking, okay, Jameis is going to mentor Shedeur Sanders until he's not, because 2 days later, the New York Giants also bring in quarterback Russell Wilson, who in all likelihood is going to be the starter. And if you remember, they re-signed Tommy DeVito as well. So right now on the New York Giants roster, you have Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, and Tommy DeVito. That's 3 quarterbacks. I don't think they're going to bring in a 4th quarterback on a team that needs a lot. I don't see that happening. I think they're going to bring in Travis Hunter. I think they're going to go best available, a guy that can play offense and defense for you. You have to hit on that pick. I think that's what they're going to do. So with Shedeur not going 2 or 3, where's he going to go? Because honestly, guys, if he doesn't go 3 overall, I think he's going to fall. Let's look at the draft order here real quick. So you have Titans, Browns, and Giants. If he doesn't go to the Giants, 4 overall, the Patriots. They're not taking a quarterback. The Jags are not drafting a quarterback. Whether you think they should or not, they're going to ride this Trevor Lawrence thing out for as long as they can. So they're not going to take a quarterback. At 7, you have the New York Jets. I don't think they take a QB. They should, but they kind of expressed over the weekend that they have confidence that Justin Fields could be their QB1. The Panthers are going to see what they got with Bryce Young. I personally don't think Bryce Young's the answer, but he showed a lot of promise later in the year. He was better. I don't think he was good enough, but he was better. Dave Canales has kind of proven to be a QB whisperer over the last few years in the NFL. What can he get out of Bryce Young? I think they're going to give it one more shot. Chicago's not taking a quarterback at 10. San Fran's not taking a quarterback at 11. And then the New Orleans Saints are actually at 9. The Saints should get a quarterback. Derek Carr is obviously not the long-term answer there, but the last time the New Orleans Saints drafted a quarterback in the first round was Archie frickin' Manning. They're not taking a quarterback. They should. I have no confidence that they're going to do that. So no for the Saints at 9, no for the Bears at 10, no for the 49ers at 11. Dallas Cowboys at 12. As a Cowboys fan, I think they need a QB. I don't think they're going to take one, at least not in the first round. Dolphins, probably not. Maybe. The Colts, no. They should, but they invested a lot in Anthony Richardson, and they just brought in Daniel Jones as an insurance policy. Now, if you're a Colts fan, I'm sure you're not too thrilled about an Anthony Richardson, Daniel Jones quarterback battle. I'm sure there's a lot of other things you'd rather talk about than having one of those guys under center. but I don't think they're going quarterback in the first round. The Falcons aren't. They just got Michael Penix Jr. last year. The Cardinals, you could say maybe, but Kyler Murray, at least statistically, was actually okay last year. Cincinnati at 17, no. Seattle at 18, no. Tampa's got Baker. They're not taking him at 19. And Denver's not taking him at 20. They got Bo Nix. He was in the Rookie of the Year discussion. If the Giants do not take Shedeur Sanders, I think the next possible landing spot is actually all the way down at number 21 overall with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Look, they are still all in on this Aaron Rodgers thing, but as of right now, Aaron Rodgers is not a Pittsburgh Steeler. You have Mason Rudolph. That's all you have. And even if you sign Aaron Rodgers, maybe that's a one-year rental. You want Shedeur Sanders to come in and learn under a guy that has played in the NFL for a number of years, that has played a lot of football at a high level, in a guy like Aaron Rodgers. A lot of people think Shedeur could go 2 to the Browns. I don't. And I don't think he's going 3 anymore now that they have Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston at the New York Giants. If he doesn't go there, this is a player that you're going to watch the entirety of the first round, because I think there's a chance, I think there's actually a likelihood at this point that Shedeur Sanders falls a little bit in the first round. But that also brings me to Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart has a lot of hype around him. A couple weeks ago, people were bringing up the point of, hey, could Jackson Dart go in the first round? Not only can Jackson Dart go in the first round, I think it's a very realistic thing to talk about with, is Jackson Dart the second quarterback off the board instead of a Shedeur Sanders? You see players fall for a number of reasons. Teams get scared away a little bit. You always see that late riser, right? I mean, it looked like back in 2017, Cleveland was going to take one of Josh Allen or Sam Darnold, maybe even Josh Rosen. All three of those guys got tapered off. People were kind of poking holes in their games. Boom, Baker Mayfield, late riser, number 1 overall pick. Now, was that the right pick? I don't know. I'm a huge Baker Mayfield fan. Josh Allen's had a hell of a career, though. Maybe they should have taken Josh Allen. Probably should have. But that was kind of the thought process. They were kind of poking holes in these guys. Baker Mayfield was a late riser. He blew him away with interviews. That's a guy they went with. So let's say Pittsburgh does take a quarterback in the first round, but they've kind of done their homework more on Jackson Dart than Shedeur Sanders, strictly due to the fact that they didn't really think Shedeur was going to be there. So let's say Shedeur falls, and they're like, hey, do we take the guy who we think might be a little bit better? Or do we go with Jackson Dart, who was going to be our initial pick all along, who we're more comfortable with, who we've done a lot more homework on? So not only could Shedeur fall to 21, he could fall a lot further. And after 21, there's not a ton. Chargers, no. Packers, no. Vikings, no. Texans, no. Rams, no. Then you have Ravens, Lions, Commanders, Bills, Chiefs, Eagles. None of them are taking a QB. So not only could Shedeur Sanders potentially fall out of the top 5 all the way down to 21, if the Steelers balk at 21, there's a chance Shedeur Sanders does not go in the first round. Unless, of course, there's a trade made, another team trades back up for a second pick in the first round. That's always possible. But if things stay chalk like they are, I think there's a chance Shedeur Sanders could be in for a long night during the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft. All right, that's going to do it for today's episode of the Huddle Up Podcast. Tune in next time. We're going to continue to talk top off-season topics, major storylines heading into the 2025 NFL Draft. Don't miss that. If you liked everything you saw, please like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you next time on the Huddle Up Podcast.